I was closing off the year with my clients, and what was really interesting is we were talking, what do we want to bring in next year? And every single one of them had their money goal very, very first, which as business owners, we're in the business of making money. If we're not making money, we don't have a business. So we need to think about that first. Do we have something that is going to financially support us? And then the other things come, right? What are sort of the top 3 to 5 things that right now, as we're coming into this new year, that we need to consider as we're looking into our space and getting ready to come into the new year?
What clicks for me is
Welcome to today's episode of Business Growth Lab. I'm your host, Samantha Riley, and today I'm here with Annette Farha, and I'm very, very excited about this conversation because I met Annette in an online networking event not too long ago, and she was talking about what she does, and she's an intuitive design coach. And she was talking about creating this space that brings out the frequency of who we are. It's like the visual representation of who we are. So, from the space of creating your office so that you feel empowered, so that it creates abundance, lots of different things. I'm going to stop there and actually like let her lean into her genius. So, Annette, welcome to the show.
thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I think I got so excited when we spoke because one of my top 3 values is beauty. And when I say that to people, a lot of people go, a value, beauty. And I also did. So I worked with a kinesiologist. They helped me uncover my top 7 values. And when this value came out, I'm like, beauty isn't a value. And at the time, the kinesiologist went, all right, well, let's just play with this. Like when you go to a restaurant, do you choose based on the menu or how it looks? I went, oh, no, always how it looks. Like, I jump on the website or look in the door and go, yep, looks good or doesn't. And then she sort of went on like, when you have a conference, like what's the most important thing? Oh, well, it's the look of the room, it's the look of my workbooks, and then it all started to drop in. So understanding that I'm coming from that way and your zone of genius with having this design aspect, I was like, oh my goodness, this is something I haven't dived into. And I know I shared with you when we were in the green room that when my husband and I go and look at new houses, because we move a lot, we move often, the first thing we do is look and say, can we set our office up so that we don't have our back to the door? And I'm sure you can go into that more as to why we say that to ourselves, and is there natural light? And we consider all of these things before we even put in, an offer on the house. So, oh, so much there already. Why don't you start off by sharing how you landed here and why is it so important and why is it not acknowledged or thought about so much about how our space looks and how we energetically feel and present to the world within our space?
So I had a corporate life, and then I decided I was going to stay home and take care of my kids and save my marriage. It exploded, and I landed in designing and drafting. And I realized I couldn't support my kids at the level because I love money at the level I wanted. So I got my real estate license and I grew a brokerage. And so I have transformed over 400 homes, and people started listing my name that I was the designer, and it would
Uh-huh.
sell faster and sell for more. And really what they were listing is I would not ask you how many bedrooms, I didn't ask you any of that. I asked you, how do you want to live?
Mm,
Tell me about your dream morning when you wake up. What do you want to feel like?
mm.
At the end of the day and you come home and you're ready. Do you know where your phone charger is right now, or a phone charger?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you know where your personal body, physical, emotional charger is in your home?
As in the room that I feel most charged?
Yeah, the room you can go in and you can recharge.
Actually, this room. I don't know.
Okay. So not everybody does. People would be like, well, I don't know. I come home, I rush around, and then we just collapse into bed. And I was like, well, is that the life you want? Well, no.
Mm,
Okay, well, let's dream about your life. And so I would start there. And then we would create this relationship. So we don't realize that we have a relationship with our space.
mm,
You think about the relationship with your spouse, you think about your relationship with your pet. Even your pet gets more credence than the place we go to sleep and wake up.
yeah.
And so all of a sudden, I was noticing as I helped people find their next place or where to go, that their lives were changing because they learned how to ask different questions and they learned
Mm,
to create a relationship with their space. Because I taught them basically feng shui, I call it the energy map to make it simpler. I kind of simplified it down like, how simple can I make this? So we could listen to the love letters of our space, right? Like, oh, look at me. I'm cluttering up the middle of every room. That's our health space.
mm, mm-hmm.
And I'm feeling sluggish. Well, that's funny. All the files are ending up on every coffee table, right? Like,
Oh,
but then you're like, oh, why is that? Oh, I can start asking questions. My space was loving me, telling me, like, hey, need some attention on this, right? So that's how this all kind of started was during COVID we didn't have a business. You couldn't show houses. So there was 2 months we were at home. I had this brokerage. I only had 5 people, but I was like, what am I going to do? These people have to feed their people, like, so I said, I'm going to
yeah.
pay you to call and love on your people. We had a 10,000 person database. And I'm like, I want everybody, like we figured out how everybody would call somebody and do something. And all we did was love on them. That was it.
Uh-huh.
We did not
Yep.
work. We just loved on people. We came out of that and doubled our sales. I didn't
Wow.
love on people to double my sales. I loved on people because it felt like the right thing to do at that moment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at that moment, I was like, wait a minute. This is relational. How do we change all of this business to a relational model? And I design and draft new homes. And so I was like, okay, how do we integrate all of this and how do we integrate nature and how do we help people live at a better level? And so that's how it kind of started. And then as I started helping business owners move a couch and get 5 contracts the next morning, like, wait a minute, I want some of that. And I was like, oh, I kind of reverse engineer. I do stuff and then it works. I'm like, oh, okay, now how do I scale it? How do I make it work for more?
Oh, love this so much. So good. Oh, where do we even start? Because this is such a big topic. Can you talk about how we even get clear around what our space and today I want to really focus in on our office space or the space that we record in. For most people, it's the same space. And the reason is because I think that there's, like I said before, there's one side of it that we need to feel really empowered and really, joyful and or at peace or whatever it is. Like for me, when I walk into this room, I just feel so at home. And I know why that is. But also we want to create this energy of what people are seeing so that they get a certain feeling. So can you start by unpacking that?
Yes. So first, if you blur your background, that's the first note that something's out of alignment because we
Mm-hmm.
want to be transparent. Even if it's messy, we want to show up who we are and authentic and real. So that would be my first clue. My second clue would be, can you see all the doorways from where you set? And that's called a command position. So now
Mm-hmm.
you're in command of this space. You're the leader. And if you can't be the leader of your space, it's going to be hard to lead in the world you want to lead in.
Mm-hmm.
This room actually has like 3 doors. So I have mirrors in front. So there's mirrors that
Uh-huh.
reflect because there was no way to have a command position.
Yes.
But so we create the command position. So when you think about what people see, this tells you who I am. So there's a goofy monster. There's so much art thrown up all over the wall. And what I did is take little decamolds, almost like picture frames, and framed art. So I am a manifest generator. So
Mm-hmm.
if you've done the prosperity code, you learn a lot about human design. So I have lots of ideas I throw at the wall and then I reverse engineer. It's how I work. And you can see that from my background because
I love that
it
you,
turns, yeah, it turns
oh my God.
into something. but it's kind of a lot if that's maybe not your human design. But I want you to know you're going to get lots of sparks, lots happening. I don't want you to think if I had a white wall behind me, you'd be like, wow, she's really simple, clean. This is going to be direct and focused. No, like I would be totally out of alignment with what you get. There's nothing wrong with that because I'm working with somebody for a lighthouse message and their background's white. That's what I want. I
Yes.
need focus,
Yeah.
but we need to be real about who we are and what we are inside and out. And guess what? This room's my partner. So I have this painting that looks like this hummingbird coming out of the fire. I walked into an art show. I didn't know anybody. And this man starts wrapping it up for me and is like, oh, I've been waiting for you. And I was like, I don't know you. What is happening? He's like, no, this is ascending. You must work with women. It's the only feminine painting I have here. And it's meant to be with you to help women ascend. They don't have to flap their wings. They already have everything. They just need to let themselves rise. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I always tell people the energy at which you choose things and bring it in is the energy that reflects and you give back.
Mm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
no right or wrong. It's all about who am I today? I will outgrow that picture and something else will replace it and it will get gifted
Yeah.
because we're always shifting, or it might move to another place in the room. It might, right? But that's part of it. I had a tornado made out of the soil of my hometown. So there's an artist that has been featured in New York City and Germany that I grew up with that makes from the soil you were born in. That's how she paints. And she made this tornado for clearing the way when I left my 5 businesses and cleared into this. So for
Mm-hmm.
a long time, that was in my background, right? Like, so you bring in what is the energy you need because you're going to attract that and help others come with you on that path. And so you are really expressing it and having a relationship with your space. So when I'm looking at you, I see my space. I see exactly who I am. I don't have questions about it. Right. And if you're blurred, it's like, wait a minute, why am I not speaking out loud? What's going
Mm.
on?
Mm.
What is the question I need right now?
I love this. So I think that there's a couple of things that are coming up for me. One, there's our, let's call it our furnishings or our interior decorations. Like, what is it that we're showing? What do we have there? But I also feel like color could be a different part.
Hmm.
So you've just talked about paintings. Before we jump into color, because I feel like that's a whole different piece in itself, what about what we're actually showing to the world? Like I've got certain things behind me. Does it have, like, am I drawn to those because they look good, because they feel good? What does that tell you? Can we kind of go
Yeah.
there?
Let's talk about the elements of nature. So let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about when you walk into nature and you're standing there, there's a sunrise. That can be fire, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
grass. There's soil, earth, there's trees, there's water. And so what you want is how do you balance it? So you are
Mm-hmm.
so much about growth. And so you have these plants growing behind you, right? And you are so much about light. So to me, that your pink looks like this blush looks just like a sunrise, that pink of the sunrise. So that's really so beautiful because it's really amplifying what you want to be. I have a lot of fire in me. So I get really scared with anything fire because I am so big already. I also have a lot of water, and water is where I get real soft and connect. So you'll see like I have
Mm.
lots of watercolor because
Mm-hmm.
that is a connection color that brings my water, that kind of brings me down. This house I live in now is weird. Like it doesn't like anything I brought earth in. I'm serious. I brought earth into this room and it breaks. So if I bring a clay pot in,
Ah.
it breaks. Like it's the weirdest. It's a very so you also have to listen to your space. I don't talk about that a lot because people are like that's really woo woo. And I try to be one woo, not two,
Oh,
but
we're all woo woo here.
um but your space has something it's saying too. So I always tell people be really careful if you buy it without stepping into it because the earth that whatever home you're built on, it had a whole life before you. So we're co-creating. We're co-creating
Mm-hmm.
with the earth, the house. And so you're figuring out how do I feel? What's the vibration? So if you have like a word for your company, maybe you have a word of the year, there's a vibration to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had effervescence one year, and this room had all kinds of bubble stuff going on.
Ah!
um, and then this year it's sovereignty. So I have
Mm,
my goofy monster. I have ascending. I have the one painting, other painting behind me is named rearrange because that's sovereign for me, always rearranging. So, but sovereign has a totally different feel and vibration than effervescent.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I kept the same color, but I changed everything around it because I still wanted that water. So to me,
Mm-hmm.
water, you blow bubbles, you right? Like, so depending if you're an earth type and we're getting ready to go into fire horse year, this is your year because you're so grounded naturally, bringing fire in and really activating that one and that is going to be huge.
Mm,
Anything that is sharp, like triangles are fire, anything that's a fire color, those are activations.
mm-hmm.
And so activating is going to be so helpful. And then in the center of every room is health. So keeping that clean as fire is activated is going to be really important this coming year. So those are important in your office too, just to try to make sure you're balancing, you're creating harmony and frequency, you're feeling in. And you're really, that feel is then what you get to connect with people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, 2026 is Fire Horse. We're coming out of or just left 2025, which is Wood Snake. Now, I actually don't know a huge amount Chinese astrology, so I didn't even realize that there were elements associated. You were talking then about we're coming into a fire year, but I shared with you before we started recording, like I'm an Aries with Sagittarius rising, like I'm fire, fire, fire. We're coming into a fire horse year, like more fire, fire, fire. How is this going to play into the balance that we need to create in our design, in our space?
So for you specifically, when you're fire, fire, fire going in a fire, it's going to go so fast. So if
Oh
you're a
God,
fire
I
type,
can't do faster.
so what's going to slow fire down is ground. So
Mm-hmm.
water and ground are going to slow fire down. So what you want to do is really ground in. So because precision is your word, when I think of
Mm-hmm.
precision, I think of metal, right?
Yep.
So bringing metal in, bringing wood in, bringing earth in, you are going to want to really bring your fire really down into some really grounded, precise, very clear objects that help you stay grounded. And your center of every room, your health center is going to be huge to make sure you have some, you can even do grounding, anything that feels grounding to you as far as stones, anything that everybody's talismans are their own. So when you see like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to get XYZ, whatever. I mean, if that works for you, great, but you don't have to buy anything. Just walk around your house and be like, oh, this feels grounding. I'm going to make a little bowl of whatever. I had I had a bowl of feathers at one time when I was effervescent. Like it's like all these crazy
That's
feathers.
so cute.
So I could tickle myself. So you could do anything you want, but it's about you. But you really want to really notice if any of the center of your rooms are getting cluttered because it means you're ignoring yourself. You're ignoring your health. So your home is like, hey, we got to get healthy. So taking even as we go into this activation year, like time blocking 10 minutes a day that you're just clearing things up or cleaning things up mindfully, listening to your favorite song. Be like, okay, make a playlist of 4 songs and have cleanup time with your 4 favorite songs. Like that alone will just help everything stay moving. And you taking care of your home is taking care of you, kind of thing.
Mm, totally.
Doesn't have to be a big amount of time.
Something that I do every like Christmas break, in that sort of break between Christmas and New Year, every single year I do a massive cleanup of my office. And in actual fact, I did a huge cleanup before Christmas this year, but I always make sure that my desk is absolutely spotless because I feel like that gives me Oh, just the mental space to come into the new year. Like, I really like my spaces very clear, and it's definitely a feeling. Like, when there's clutter, I can't think straight. It has to be totally clear for me to have the space to reflect, to think, to be creative, all of those things.
Yes, do clear it. Also clear your files. Even if it's putting a bunch of things in archive, don't forget digital. We forget that that lingers out there too. And so
Mm,
clean that up's important. Also, clean up your closet.
interesting.
Like literally, whatever your word is, live it because you want to be able to go to your closet and get however you feel that vibration. So we want
Yep.
our clothes, our home, and whatever our word is, all the vibrations to line up. So like if you
Uh-huh.
have a word of precision, you don't want any clothes that need a button, like you have like, oh
Yeah,
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 that bottom
yeah.
button or something like that. No. Less is more. So the more open space we create, the more opportunity can come to us. So that's the other thing that happens sometimes at the first of this year is we feel like this emptiness because the holidays are over and everything's down and we're like, oh, it's empty. Oh, it's empty. Who knows what's going to come next, right? And be
Yeah.
really intentional. But really, if it's, I call them juicers and dumpers. So I say that you should make a list of all the things that zap your energy.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe it's talking to your mother-in-law, or maybe it's whatever all the things are. Then make a list of all your juicers, like having coffee with your best friend and getting a new scarf or whatever those are. And then what you want to do is figure out, like, okay, what does a zapper feel like? What does a juicer feel like? And then go around your house and see where's the zappers. Close your eyes
Mm.
and then just like put them in a box and then just set with the open space. Because maybe you've had some zappers that have just been hanging out because they're not big enough offenders, but they're taking up space that is waiting for something even better.
Mm. Yeah, because we need to create this space to allow the new to come in. Is there anything specifically that we need to think about coming into a new year to create the abundance? Like, if so, I think I shared on the podcast and we were talking about it that our goal is to add 7 figures to our business in 2026. Other people, like whatever their money goal is there something specifically they need to think about within their space?
You can do feng shui two ways. You can do a compass way, which is by direction, or you can do from the front door. You literally stand at whatever your main door to the space is or the main door to your home is. And the farthest left corner or the farthest south corner is your abundance corner.
Mm-hmm.
Your abundance corner for this fire year is going to mean that you want to make sure you have it cleared out. And if you can buy a money tree or have wood in it, that is going to
Mm-hmm.
help growth in your abundance. But you want to check it because I had a pair of earphones I can't find the charger for, and they were sitting in my abundance corner for way too long. And I was like, oh my gosh, it needs a charger in my abundance corner. That's really not good. Like those need to be taken care of. So it's little things like that that can drain. We also are going into a fire year in our fame area, which is really the north corner, the north center part. Or if you walk in a room, it's the center farthest from your door.
Mm-hmm.
That's your fame area. So, what you want to be known for? What are your values? What's your why? What's your purpose? If you look at that area, are you feeling it? Are you feeling that why? Is it aligning with your values? If your value is to do 7 figures and you've got a bunch of unfinished projects there, that's not going to align.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get rid of them, be done, delegate it, right? Like, we don't realize that all of that is taking energy. It's like when you used to date and you dated the guy that was just okay because you went on some fun trips or with something, but you just kind of kept him around because you're like, I don't have time to get on the dating app or whatever. But they took up space. Like, nobody, the right person could have come because you're just fiddling around.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the deal. I always tell, I have a 21-year-old who's dating, and I said, he's like, Mom, do you like her? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you, number one. Number two, do you like who you are? So when you're in your
Mm.
office, you're like, this is my recharge place. I love who I am. Perfect. You're doing awesome. If you walk in your office and you're like, oh, I'm at work. I'm just, oh, I'm unfocused. then your office is saying, hey, we're not in a good partnership. We haven't had some
Mm.
conversations we need to have. So that's kind of how you know.
I love that. Because I did, you asked before, and this room where I have my office is my favorite room of the house. I don't know how you knew that I liked sun. I don't know if I said it on a podcast or if you just intuitively picked it up, but I need a lot of sun. And this room has got two floor to ceiling windows in it that have got the most beautiful sheers that I just love the way that the light comes into the room. And at the end of the day, because the sun goes down, with like the sunset is straight outside this window, and I'll often just switch everything off and I'll just sit here and like do nothing and just sit and like, oh, I just love that, like that feeling of the room.
I think that's why you're so abundant, though, because that we don't take into consideration that that energy, that like awe, that wonder, like you're allowing it in your body and in your space. And when you give that kind of gratitude, your space holds it. So now when I come into your
Mm,
space, I get it. So that's what I'm talking about in relationship with nature and with ourselves and with our space. Like we
mm,
are amplifiers. Our space is. We've been trained by the outside world that everything's transactional. Oh, I do nothing and I sit there. No, you're taking in the awe of nature. You are
mm,
bringing it in that energy. That's energy. That's a frequency, like a song. And so then that frequency now plays because every time you think about, oh, I got to see the sunset, that energy comes up. And so someone that's struggling and in the middle of a mess, all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, I feel sunset. Like I'm all of a sudden, I can see the possibility, right? So
mm. So let me ask you this question. So I've got these beautiful windows and I can see straight out, and that's our front garden. And there's this place where, and I'm assuming there was plants, but there's just like this like little horseshoe area where there's no plants. And I actually said to my husband the other day, over the Christmas break, I would like to build a water feature there because then I can sit here in my office and it will be like right there. I can just see this water feature. Listening to everything that you're saying with it being a fire year, and obviously I'm a fire sign, is this what you're talking about? Am I intuitively thinking this is exactly what I need right now?
yes, that's my point. That is why I say hire an intuitive designer, not a designer, because you learn the tools. You don't need me every time. You might need me for a checkup here and there, but you don't need me every time, right? So yes, if you had a rock, those beautiful rock fountains that are made out
Uh-huh.
of rocks, so you had earth and
Yeah.
water, that's perfect.
That's what
That would
I was
help balance
going to do.
that would help the fire, right? Because a fire person's going to fire year. Now, the Chinese year starts like February sometime. I
Yep.
don't remember the exact date. So we have a little bit of time, possibly, depending when this airs. So just know, yes, if you're feeling like you're being pulled too fast, like you're so excited for your business and you want to grow and you want to do all the things, but you're feeling the burnout, the body
Hmm.
burnout, the health burnout, water and rocks, water and earth,
Mm.
integrated. It could be that this room has to turn, a beige. I can't imagine. I miss color. So I totally will do grays and beige for other people. But I don't think I have one room that's that color because I love color. There's a millions of them. So I'm always painting some color.
So, okay, so that was for me, very fiery person. What about a water sign? How, without, and I just don't want to bring that color in yet, or maybe you need to. What are some things that they can lean a little bit more into that are the opposite?
So if you're earth, you're going to be super uncomfortable. You're going to be like, why is this moving so fast and help? This do find a coach that aligns for whatever your purpose is because fire is going to be pushing you faster than you want to go. So intentionally put fire where you want to activate, meaning if it's in your career you want to grow, then that's where you're going to focus your fire. And then you're going to try to cap all your earth elements everywhere else. If you're working on getting in a relationship, you would look at your relationship corner. So you're going to be intentional and pick one area you want to activate and try to ground everything else out so you don't take your nervous system off the charts because your nervous system isn't going to be used to it. For a water person, when you add water to fire, it's steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh goodness, this could be a very steamy year. So for a water person, you're going to want to bring in earth is going to be your most easy solution. And earth, I would say like wood earth. So bring in
Mm-hmm.
tree type of things so that your water is feeding the tree that will then feed the fire. So kind of use the cycle in that way. But be intuitive, just like you are intuitive. Like you're like, a fountain would be really nice. And then think about, oh, okay. So for you, that fountain is going to be probably right where you can see it pretty centered, right? Like through the windows. So set the intention. This is for my health.
Mm.
When I can feel my nervous system, my health system getting over too much, I'm going to look out at that. If I'm an earth person going into a fire year, I'm going to be like, okay, do I need some rocks on my desk? Like I might need a rock that I can just hold at some moments when things are moving really fast. Like I might need to make time, like 5 minutes between appointments that I step outside and put my feet in the ground. Like
Mm-hmm.
I might need to be giving people their energy back and taking my energy back because I'm an earth person and I don't want all this. If you're a water person and you flow, so you have all this flow, and then all of a sudden it's like the steam's happening and you're like, I feel like I'm losing myself. Water people might have that feeling like, I'm losing myself. Think about what things are going to ground you in. So is it going to a tree? Because water feeds a tree. So trees can be very comforting to water people. Is it that you want more water to activate the fire? So when you take a shower, you're going to allow the water to release everything. You talk about a
Mm.
magic shower. Water people might find they all have
Yeah.
magic showers this fire year. They're like, more water. So you're finding for your nervous system what is going to regulate me so that I can be the best I can be, make the most money I can make, get whatever goal I want to get. And that's how we use our space, our workspace, our homes to do that. We partner with them so that our nervous system doesn't have to do all the work by itself.
Mm, mm. Can we talk about color now? I know I've brought it up so many times. It's obviously because the part of me that loves beauty also loves color, which is funny because I mostly wear black and white, but I actually love color. What can you tell us about color? Because there definitely, you've mentioned it already, there's a frequency there. How do you tap into that? How do you bring color in? What are some things without necessarily just painting a wall or a background?
Yeah, so there are great ways. So a lot of us, if you coach or you're an entrepreneur, you may be somebody that moves a lot. So painting may not be an option. So I tell people, so I love shower curtains because they're inexpensive and I love curtains. So I stretch shower curtains around plywood all the time and make huge backgrounds. A lot of coaches
Uh-huh.
I work with, you'll see that so that they can change the color how they want to change it. You can paint your own painting. You can
Mm-hmm.
do a million things, but you're going to want to listen in. And when we're business owners, bringing in the colors. So if you have gold, I notice you have the gold in the back. Gold is going to
Mm-hmm.
be a strong, abundant color, especially for a year of beginnings. So really think about metal colors and what you want to bring it in. It could be gold, it could be rose gold, it could be silver. There's no right or wrong, but we always think of money and abundance with that. Bringing those in as accents can be really powerful when we set the intent that this is abundance to me and I'm bringing more of that in. Color is also because we're on screen. What color do you look good in? I have silver hair, so I always had a white office because I'm a designer. And what I noticed is whatever color I picked for my office, everybody picked it. So I would
Uh-huh.
repaint my office every year. Then finally I just went white because I was getting tired of it. But when my hair went silver, white looked horrible. Like I looked
Mm.
dead. I looked like I was this floating head. I could not figure it out. So you gotta also take into account what are you going to look like on screen? If you can get dressed, you can paint, you can pick a color for your office, you can choose a background. That's why I tell you to start in your closet because is your closet current to who you be?
Mm,
And now, is it who you're going to be? So when you do those visualizations of going up the elevator and, you really want to take your word and you want to visualize yourself at the end of the year doing your celebration. And what do you look like? What do you feel like? What is that vibration? And if anything in your closet is not that vibration, it's got to go. Then
mm.
lay out your very favorite thing, the thing you feel the most powerful, the most beautiful, whatever. Pick your top three, look at them, and then look at your space. Do you look beautiful in your space wearing that? Does your
Mm.
space have the same frequency? Then that's kind of how you play. So you can always do
Mm.
bookcases behind you too, and you can curate a bookcase. You can always, one of my people I work with, she has these two IKEA bookcases we keep redoing a million different ways, but we put a tension bar between them. So it looks so she hangs different curtains back there. So she
Uh-huh.
can choose what vibe she wants because she's
Oh,
always
that's
changing
cool.
and she's trying some different things out because we're always transforming. We're
Yeah.
transformational leaders. So we're transforming. So it's keep it flexible, keep it fun, and be brave enough to wear your heart outside. Like, love your
Mm.
space and share it. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's or a magazine. It just has
Yeah.
to truly be you.
How do you balance that and your brand? So you might have a brand that's a certain color, and a lot of people sort of say the story that, always wear that color so that people can instantly recognize your brand, or always only use that color in your, in your backdrop. How do you balance that and also allowing color in a way that feels right for the person you are right now? Because that might change.
The easiest way to do it is your office is your partner in crime. Your brand is the structure holding it.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, like, if your brand is white and gold and that's it, but you love color, you can even have your brand on a little plaque and just have it in the corner in your bookcase. As long as it's somewhere visible, you're fine because you're
Mm,
evolving. And the reason people are choosing to work with you is because they're evolving. They do not
mm,
expect you to stay who you were before
yeah.
because they're expecting you to keep up with all the things happening. So
Mm.
don't lock yourself in. Your brand is holding you, yes, but it should not be limiting you.
Oh, I like that. I like that. As we're coming into this fire horse year, as we're coming into a new year, and I'm just thinking about the call I had just recently where I was closing off the year with my clients. And what was really interesting is we were talking, what do we want to bring in next year? And every single one of them had their money goal very, very first, which as business owners, and the reason that's probably happened is because something that I say all the time is we're in the business of making money. If we're not making money, we don't have a business. So we need to think about that first. Do we have something that is going to financially support us? And then the other things come, right? What are sort of the top 3 to 5 things that right now, as we're coming into this new year, that we need to consider as we're looking into our space and getting ready to come into the new year?
What clicks for me is, who are you if you're making that? Who are you? What do you feel like who you be? And again, when you're standing at the door of your office, look straight across at the farthest wall. Does that feel like you? Does it feel like you? And that is a fireplace. So that's your flame area. So fire activated, meaning
Mm-hmm.
have some kind of fire element that feels like who you're going to be. A fire element could be the scarf because it has enough pink and like fiery colors. You can take scarves and put them over pillows and make a new pillow. You don't have to buy something new. You can make it work. You also, from when you're standing at the front door, want to look at your left corner. That's your abundance corner. That's your wealth. So if that's super important to you, keep it clean.
Mm-hmm.
When you're at that front door, you're at your career area if it's in the middle. So the wall that your door is onto that room is the middle of it's the career area, and to the left is your inner knowledge area. To me, those two areas have to go together because if you're out of alignment with who you be, that's totally okay. You might be becoming something else. Totally fine. And that's the time to start playing. But you want to know, am I in alignment or out of alignment? Because if you're out of alignment, you're going to kind of let your business run as is for now until you get like, what's bringing me back? What's bringing me back? Right. If you're in alignment and you can really feel that, that corner should feel like just so you. And then you just pull it back over into your career area and activate it. So, does that answer your question?
That sure does. That sure does. I have loved this conversation, Annette, because it's a conversation I've never had on the podcast before, but it's also something that I've always known, and I've never met anyone that can articulate what I'd always thought. So, thank you so much for coming on the show. For people that want to learn more about any of what we've talked about, how do they stay connected with you?
They can stay connected with me on social, or they can go to my website and they can get a free diagnostic to see if they need anything in their space. They can also get a spark session, which is literally like we just spark whatever they need next. And since we're in a fire year, it's a great time to do that. All my workshops are there. So that's really the best place to check me out and see what's going on.
I love it. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Annette. Have a wonderful 2026. And again, thank you for sharing all of this zone of genius with us.
Yeah.